The number one question I probably get, how do I return back to exercising when I have long COVID? And today, I'm going to give you the answer. First, we have to lay the groundwork. Okay, so if you don't understand the polyvagal theory, if you don't understand how the nervous system causes long COVID, then go watch that video. I'm going to put it on the cards on top of me. Click that video, watch how the polyvagal nervous system framework, understand it inside and out. Once you understand that, this framework, this philosophy on how to heal will make sense. This will allow you to go back to exercising. Please understand that this is just a personal philosophy. This is something that worked for me and has helped many people that I've coached and has helped me to heal. My philosophy may not be the one that can help you heal. So just keep that in mind. Maybe another coach can help you heal and you'll understand their framework's a little bit different. When I first got sick, I thought I was out of shape. I thought I would go back into health by exercising more. That was obviously not the case. I remember I even paid for a CrossFit membership because I said, I just gotta push myself. And if I push myself, then I'll get better, I'll get stronger. And I lasted in CrossFit for maybe like 2 weeks. After every workout, I would have these dizzy spells and I wasn't sure why. I was not strong, but I didn't care if I was strong. I knew I was weak. And I realized it just like made me worse. It made my health worse to the point that after those 2 weeks, I was bedridden. And with long COVID, it's really weird because you have these episodes that you feel great. You can go 1 month, 2 weeks, feeling amazing. You go to the supermarket, you can walk around the block, you have no problem doing anything. And then all of a sudden it strikes you. You get bedridden, you have brain fog, you may have a headache, you have all these weird symptoms. So it can be so confusing. How do I go back to exercising? Another big problem that many people speak about is post-exertional malaise, right? PEM. After you exercise every single time, you get post-exertional malaise, meaning that maybe not even that day after doing the exercising, maybe not that night, but the next day you feel it and you become bedridden. You become worse, a lot worse. That is post-exertional malaise. And you're so frustrated, wondering what is going on with my body. I remember me and my brother, we went for a run and it was about a 3-mile run. And I was lucky because this day I felt amazing. So I took advantage of it. I went for a run and I went as hard as I could. It was about 3 miles. I got home and all my POTS-like symptoms came back. I was dizzy, lightheaded, tachycardic, which is just another fancy way of saying high heart rate. And I felt this horrible malaise. And for the next 2 weeks, I was completely bedridden. Couldn't get out of bed whatsoever. And everybody around me was confused. My family, my wife. How is it that he ran 3 miles, pushed it, felt great, came back, looked horrible. The next 2 weeks, completely bedridden. No one understood what was going on. And this is really the frustration when it comes down to exercising. Whenever you try to exercise, maybe certain exercises you do really doesn't do much. You have no symptoms, no flare-ups. But sometimes you can do the littlest things. And all of a sudden, all your post-exertional malaise will come back. Your symptoms will come back really bad, strong, debilitate you. Before we even begin using the simple technique I use to return back to exercising, let's lay down the foundation. You need to understand that long COVID is caused due to a dysregulated or sensitive or overstimulated nervous system. If you don't believe that's the case, and you believe long COVID is caused by a million other things, then this video won't help you. But if you watch that polyvagal theory video and it made complete sense to you, then this will definitely help you and it'll make sense. So really the first step that you must tackle down is, are you living a life, a normal day-to-day life? It can be in your house with no symptoms. That's the first step. Can you be in your house and be somewhat functional without any symptoms? If you cannot, then you need to do the exercises from my other video, which are the polyvagal exercises. And if that's the case, then we want to redefine exercise for you. I know typically exercise means going to the gym, lifting heavy weights, going for a run. Even before getting sick, maybe for you exercise was running 10 miles on the weekends, running 5 miles every day. And now you wonder why a walk around the block is exhausting. So we first want to accept where we are, what our limitations are. And then we want to reframe what exercise is currently in our life. This can be tough because I know emotionally it can hurt to think that you lost it all, that you can no longer run marathons, that you can no longer go to the gym. And the truth is that it sucks that right now you're in this situation and you're gonna have to grieve through this process. You need to accept where you currently are. You need to let go of that anger and resentment you may have at the world, at the universe, at yourself. But after you relieve some of that anger, now you can accept it. And now you can move on. Now you can take the steps to start getting better. If you look at other YouTube channels that have interviews of people that recovered, they recovered and are able to exercise again. I ran a half marathon last year without any problems at all. So you can get better. You can get your exercise life back. You can go back to the gym. You could go back to running your marathons. You could go back to rock climbing. You could go back to swimming. You could go back to dancing. You could go back to your extreme yoga. You could go back to cycling. All these different activities and exercises you used to do, you can go back to them. You can get that life back again. But right now, you need to accept where you are. You need to accept your limitations. And that's okay. I think a lot of us are afraid to accept our limitations because if we do, we feel as if we're accepting it and we're saying to ourselves, hey, I am okay being this limited for the rest of my life. And that's not the case. The truth is you're saying, hey, I am okay where I am now. Despite these limitations, I am happy. I can smile. I know I'll get better eventually. But right now, it's okay. I'm okay being here. I'm going to do what I can and what I can control right now. And I'm going to do it with joy, and I'm going to do it with happiness and with a smile on my face. That alone, that process, that thinking, that mindset is extremely hard. So don't feel if you're struggling with that mindset, don't feel like you're an imposter for it. I struggled with that when I was healing, but I kept telling myself, I will get better. Everything's okay. I let go of all expectations. I said, I will get better somehow. I have faith in that, but I'm going to let it come at its own time. And I just focused on the work that I can do every day. So I didn't just say, hey, I'll let go of all expectations and it's whatever. No, I was happy. I let go of all expectations. But at the same time, the only thing I focused on was the action that I took. And today I'm going to show you that action. Just focus on taking action every day. You don't have to be pushing yourself too much. You don't have to be this perfectionistic person anymore. A lot of people tell me, Rob, how do I balance taking action and not being so perfectionistic and pushing myself to do it every single day? And the truth is that you need to live with extreme gratitude. Extreme. Not a little bit of gratitude. Extreme gratitude. Meaning that no matter what happens today, you're extremely happy, grateful, and you accept life as it is. So if you had post-exertional malaise today, you accept it as it is and you smile. And you're grateful, extremely grateful for your life. If you have a great day today, then you can be extremely grateful for a great day. The next day you have a horrible, miserable day, doesn't matter. You smile and you're extremely grateful to be alive and to have another day. You dictate that mood. Do not let your signs and symptoms dictate your mood. So the technique I'm going to show you guys on how to return back to exercising, it's called the Polyvagal Sandwich. Yeah, Polyvagal Sandwich. Wife, put a picture of a sandwich and a polyvagal on it. Yeah, polyvagal sandwich. This is a nice graph here. It's going to be time, okay? So imagine if you were to have long COVID here, it doesn't really matter. This is 1 month in, 2 months, it doesn't matter, 3 months, whatever. This is time. This is going to be your nervous system capacity. Okay, this is the capacity your nervous system has. All of us have a baseline of our capacity. So I remember at the beginning when I was healing, my baseline wasn't much. This was my baseline, okay? And to describe this, my baseline was I was on the couch. That's it. Anything outside of the couch would overstimulate my nervous system. It was outside the capacity of my nervous system. So what would happen when I would go for a walk outside the house? Well, guess what? It would go outside my capacity. When you go outside your capacity, what comes up? Your symptoms. Yeah, if you go outside your capacity, you get your symptoms. Remember, your nervous system is dysregulated. It is not a healthy nervous system. So what you end up doing is scaring your nervous system, pushing it more into fight or flight or shutdown phase. And this is where post-exertional malaise comes. Post-exertional malaise really is your nervous system signaling to you to stop and slow down, that you are in danger and it's going to protect you by shutting you down. So it's just a safety mechanism. So how can we go back to exercising? Well, if you're still here where you can't get out of your couch, you need to be doing a lot of polyvagal exercises to remind and to teach, retrain, and build your nervous system. You do that by following the exercises in my other video, which I'm going to put the card on top, which explain all the polyvagal exercises I personally completed and the exercises I recommend to anybody that I personally coach. Now I'm going to give you another example. Imagine your baseline is higher. You have more capacity. You're on the couch. You can watch TV. You can walk around the house. You can even go grocery shopping. Sorry for my elementary handwriting. Let's say that is your capacity now, right? But every time you go to the gym or lift weights or run, you experience post-exertional malaise. You are outside your capacity. This capacity here, your nervous system does what? Your nervous system becomes triggered. It becomes triggered. So the way it creates safety in your body, it gives you something none of us like. We hate when we get this. They're called symptoms. And what symptoms are doing, it's telling your body, hey, buddy, you need to take it slow down. So it says, you know what? Let's give him symptoms. Symptom. And what happens? You get all these weird symptoms, and then you end up back on the couch. I hope that makes sense. And, exercise, the idea exercise can change. For someone that's on a couch, walking outside their house can be exercise for them. The way we tackle this and retrain the nervous system is through the polyvagal sandwich. I personally use this technique to return back to the gym. And then I remember when I went back to the gym, had no symptoms. Because of this technique, I went back to running. Running caused symptoms. And I thought because I was able to go to the gym, I would have no symptoms with every other exercise. And it's not true. When I started running, I started to have symptoms only when running. But when I was at the gym, I could lift heavy weights. Now, when I mastered my gym exercises and I mastered my running, guess what? I took out my road bike out of the garage, undusted it, and I thought I would be ready to ride my bike without any symptoms. Guess what happened? My nervous system, for some reason, thought that was dangerous. I had to retrain my nervous system to even ride my bike. So what is the polyvagal sandwich? Your meat, the center, all the condiments. That is the trigger. Whatever event, exercise, or whatever it is, walking around the park, going socializing events, it can be anything. That is the trigger. That is the middle of your polyvagal sandwich. Now the bread is your polyvagal exercises. So this is how it works. Let's say that this is your capacity. Watching TV, you're on the couch, you can walk around the house, you can even go grocery shopping. And now you want to go back to the gym. But every time you try going to the gym or you're trying to push yourself on the run or on a walk, you get post-exertional malaise or you get symptoms. So you do the polyvagal sandwich. When you go for the run, you are triggering your nervous system. But before you do the trigger, what do? You complete a polyvagal exercise. And then after that trigger, after that run, you may get symptoms. What do you do after the run? You do polyvagal exercises. It sounds simple, but it's extremely effective. You want to sandwich polyvagal exercises around that trigger. And at first, what ends up happening, a lot of people struggle with this because when they are in their capacity, they can walk, they can go back to the supermarket, they can drive again, they can watch TV, they can go be on their phones all day long without having that sensitivity to light. Their life is good. But every time they run, every time they go to the gym, or every time they go to big social events, they get symptoms and they run away from those things. And that's the opposite thing you want to do. This is an opportunity to retrain and make your nervous system stronger. So you want to do is, if this is where you are now, this is your capacity, you want to purposely go for a run. Purposely. You are purposely causing yourself symptoms. But before you go on a run, you're going to remind your nervous system that you are in a safe place, that you are safe. And the way you do that, the way you communicate to your nervous system are through the polyvagal exercises. So before you go for the run, you're going to do those polyvagal exercises. And then when you get a blast of symptoms, don't panic, smile, it's okay. Come home, relax, and what are you gonna do right away after your run or after your trigger? You're gonna do polyvagal exercise. That's it. After the trigger event, in this case, the run, you are calming your nervous system back to your baseline capacity, and you are training your nervous system. You are making your nervous system become more flexible. You are giving it more gears. And that is how you start increasing your capacity slowly over time. So if you keep doing this and you use running as an example, and you go running again, and you do the polyvagal sandwich, your capacity slowly increases. And you do it again, your capacity will slowly increase. You do it again, your capacity will slowly increase to the point that one day you'll go running and you will have no symptoms whatsoever. And then that's a beautiful thing. And then you'll go picking up weights, and guess what? You may get some symptoms again. And you will have to do the polyvagal exercises again to that specific trigger or stimulation. This is a big reason why many people say they never fully heal. They say, I'm 90% healed, I'm 80% healed, is because they are so afraid of their symptoms that they do not purposely trigger their symptoms to regain that capacity. You must trigger your nervous system. You must bring these symptoms on because that is the opportunity you get to teach your nervous system on how to calm down. Keep in mind, the polyvagal exercises are the thing that brings you back down to your baseline. That's the most crucial part of all this. You are literally training your nervous system through repetition on how to calm the nervous system down. You are teaching your nervous system, hey, this is safe. I am safe. And you're repeating it over and over and over and over and over till one day you go for that trigger event and you no longer have the symptoms. And that feeling is a beautiful symptom. I really want to repeat this idea of the polyvagal sandwich. So when you have a trigger event, let's say this is your trigger event. And for this case, we're going to say running. But just this example, this trigger event could be anything. It could be going to the supermarket. It can be going to the park. But it has to be something that causes symptoms. It can be leaving your couch. Whatever it is, it has to be something that causes symptoms. You go from no symptoms to symptoms. You are triggering, overstimulating your nervous system. Now that you know what that trigger is, before you will calm your nervous system down. You would ground your nervous system by doing the polyvagal exercises. Okay, you can do 10 minutes, you can do 20 minutes, the longer the better. I remember before my runs, I would listen to Disney music beforehand, and I would do deep breathing exercises for about 15 minutes. And that would calm my mind down. That would calm my nervous system down. Then at this point, I would purposely cause myself to have symptoms by doing the triggering action or event. In this case, it was the run. Now, when I was finished with the run, I would run for about 10, 15 minutes. I had a full blast headache, I had extreme brain fog, a lot of my symptoms came back. It sucked, but I didn't panic. It was okay. I accepted it. Then I would go home or I would lay down on the grass in the park and I would do polyvagal exercises. And this is the most important part. Here is where you have an opportunity to calm your nervous system down. If you can do this and bring down your nervous system where you have no symptoms in your nervous system, then this is you training that muscle of your nervous system over and over and over again. You are telling your nervous system, hey, every time I do the whatever trigger it is, I am safe. I am not in danger. And the way you communicate to your nervous system that you're safe is through the polyvagal exercises, specifically laughing yoga, deep breathing exercises. You guys can see that video in the cards above that I go into detail what are the specific exercises I've done. And I would choose any of those exercises and do them for 10, 20, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, however long it takes. When people tell me, hey, I'm not healing, I'm not getting better, I usually ask them, hey, how many minutes, how many hours are you spending a day in polyvagal exercises? And usually they'll tell me I'm doing 20 minutes a day. That's the wrong answer. You should be spending many minutes, even hours a day on your polyvagal exercises. The one thing that prevents people from healing is boredom. People don't want to be bored. They don't want to lay down on the floor and do the deep breathing exercise for 30 minutes. Why? It's boring. Sometimes your symptoms can be very severe, and that's okay. I remember doing deep breathing and I would fall asleep after 5 minutes. That's okay. I would wake up, balance myself mentally, just gain my composure, and then I would try it again for another 5 minutes. And then I would take a break, and then I would do it midday again. Then I would take a break, and I would do it before I go to bed. And I would just repeat it till one day I can do it 10 minutes. And then one day, I can do it for 15 minutes, and you're increasing that capacity. If you are seriously struggling with healing and going back to exercising, this is the way I did it. I did it through the Polyvagal Sandwich, which is something I just made up. But this is something I made up coaching others because I didn't know how to explain it, and I feel like Polyvagal Sandwich really sticks in your head. You understand the concept very easily. Keep in mind that you don't have to be even halfway healed for you to do this. You can implement this if you're working at a 5% capacity. If getting out of your couch and going to the bathroom is your trigger event, then apply this framework around that event. Going to the bathroom, or it can even be watching TV. It can even be being on your cell phone and having that photosensitivity. It could be anything that triggers your nervous system. I think a lot of people get stuck and don't fully heal because they purposely run away from their symptoms. They gain some capacity naturally through time, through their nervous system naturally healing, and they no longer want to expose themselves to those symptoms. And I get it. It's hard. Every time you get those symptoms, there are negative self-talks that you tell yourself, and you may be extremely afraid that you're really never getting better. And honestly, the reason I even know all this is because I'm a bit of a masochist. When I started healing and I became fully healed, I was able to go back to work and be fully functional. I really wanted to know if I'm fully healed. It really bothered me in the back of my mind. What if I'm not? What if I get sick again and I just fall apart? So a big reason why I found this out was because I just overdid everything. I overdid the running. I lifted heavy weights. I went back. I did everything. I overdid it purposely, trying to see if I can trigger my nervous system. And I did. I did trigger my nervous system. And so I just applied the Polyvagal Sandwich, and then I noticed that my symptoms would disappear when I would do those things again. And your nervous system will play some funny games on you. Sometimes it will switch symptoms around. So don't be afraid if you do your trigger event, and before you used to get really bad brain fog, and then you do some of these Polyvagal Sandwiches, and all of a sudden you start getting a migraine. Your nervous system will play games to use symptoms you've never used to scare you so it can push you down to that shutdown phase. Remember, these symptoms are just tools that your nervous system uses to stop you, to freeze you, to prevent you from moving because it believes you are in danger. It is trying to protect you. So that is how I got my life back, and that is how I got back to exercising. And that is how I increased my capacity to the point where I hit 100%. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. When I go to the gym and for some reason when I squat heavy, I get my nervous system activated again. I don't know why. I'll get a weird symptom. And I will do the deep breathing afterwards for 5 minutes. It goes away. But it's the weirdest thing how squatting for some reason triggers it. And when I do the Polyvagal exercises, squatting no longer triggers it. I had a personal event happening in my personal life where I have a garage, and in my garage I have many bikes because that's what I used to do a lot of cycling. I have about 6 bikes in my garage. Someone broke into my garage and robbed my bikes. And that really freaked me out because my neighborhood is pretty safe. And that event freaked me out so much so, again, I'm 100% capacity, that caused my nervous system to come back. And it's weird because my nervous system didn't give me the typical symptoms I used to have. It gave me a migraine, and I never suffered from migraines. And to be honest with you, at first, it really pissed me off. I was very angry, and I had to understand the anger. I had to understand the situation. I did some Polyvagal exercises, and the sweetest thing is that one of the people I coached to heal actually is one of the people I reached out to and spoke to this person, and you know who you are if you're watching this, and she coached me back and told me, hey, I think the migraine is part of your nervous system. And I said, there's no way, it's got to be something else. And said, well, what happened? I said, well, this, I got robbed in my garage, just what happened? And she said, no, that is your nervous system. She's like, I'm telling you. And so thank you very much. You know who you are. So it's funny how the people you coach to healing can sometimes coach you to healing as well. And it's a beautiful world. And I thank you very much if you're watching this video. Thank you so much. That is a Polyvagal Sandwich, everybody. I hope that helps you. Please implement it. Try it out. When you try it out, don't expect it to be miraculous and just help you on the first one. Try it every day. Try it every other day. Try it once a week. Whatever capacity you have, just do your best in that capacity, but do it repetitive. And when you do it, please come back to the comment section. Please Tell us how you've been doing. Tell us if you've been improving. Tell us how it's been working for you. Thank you so much for everybody who's been watching my channel. If you think this video is good, please give it a thumbs up because it does something to the YouTube algorithm. Please subscribe. If you believe I can be a service to you, please subscribe. And thank you so much for watching this video. I love you guys all. I wish you guys the best. And please, in the comments, please, I beg you, thank my wife because she took hours out of her day to do this setup, to have these lights here with sticky tapes, to put these, go to IKEA, buy these frames, put pictures and print them out and put them here and put them here. All this layout took hours of her time. I know you don't see this, but there's lights here, there's a light here, there's a microphone here. This is a crazy setup. So this is all due to my creative director, my beautiful, gorgeous, amazing, sweet wife. Thank you, babe. Please thank her for all her work and making this all possible. Love you guys. See you guys in the next one.